Welcome back. You're still watching the Nile Oracle, and I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Engineer Hassan Shaaban, the civil engineering consultant and the political analyst. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Anytime. First of all, we do know about the Egyptian-African bilateral ties, and you have worked in Africa for decades as well. How do you see those bilateral ties have evolved for the past decade under President Sisi?
Actually, since President Sisi came, he's paying a lot of attention and giving a lot of instructions to our governments to try to strengthen relations with the African countries and translate these agreements and documents we sign and everything to actual reality, to benefit from all of it, to have a win-win situation between us and the African countries that we have signed agreements with. Recently, His Excellency, the Minister of Transportation, Mr. Kamal Wazir, was in Chad, in N'Djamena, discussing the coming project to connect N'Djamena to the Red Sea.
Yes.
Through a highway or a railway. I don't really have full information, but I think this matter is being discussed, and this is a beginning of a new era, actually, because I think Egypt could play a major role to all of the 8 countries that do not have ports on neither Mediterranean, neither Red Sea, nor Atlantic.
Landlocked.
Right, it's a lock.
Yes.
So actually, in order to get their goods and their requirements, trade requirements from the Far East, it's a long trip. So actually, we could cooperate with the countries like China and Korea and all of these countries that have close ties with Africa, and they actually import a lot of their products to Africa. I think if Egypt actually creates a logistical hub on the Red Sea, in Qusair, Safaga, even Ras Barnis, or all of this, these are very promising areas to have a logistic hub over there.
Yes.
Allocate areas for each country. Chad, Nouakchott, Benin, Niger, all of these.
Like the Suez Canal economic axis.
The Suez Canal is not really an important corridor to these countries in particular.
But I mean the same model, because China is investing there, other countries, Japan, the US.
Right. Actually, we could have this hub.
Yes.
Receive all the goods from the Far East and transport it by railway or highway to all of these 8 countries. And in return, if we allocate this land to these countries, in exchange of this, we could get agricultural areas in these countries, because actually they have excellent soil. The rate of rainfall is excellent. They have water resources, and we could actually develop agricultural settlements in these areas. Even if we did not create agricultural settlements in these countries, we still, a country like Nouakchott, now it is #1 in Africa in production of cotton.
Mauritania.
Nouakchott.
Yes.
Nouakchott. Okay. So actually, which is Burkina Faso, actually is Burkina Faso is #1 in production of cotton in Africa today, and it's a leading company in the production of cotton. So actually, if we manage to cooperate with a country like Burkina Faso, give them land on the Red Sea in this logistic hub, actually we could actually benefit both. It will be a win-win situation. Maybe use their cotton to to the weaving and spinning activities in Mahalla, which is our main
place,
right, for production of spinning. So actually, there should be a new philosophy. If we want to tie Egypt with all of these countries have, a huge number of raw materials, minerals, and we lack this. If we could actually utilize the raw materials that these countries have and get these raw materials to Egypt and create industrial areas in the area where, now we're focusing on the Valley of Kenya and the Alaki area, which is the issue today because of the gold production in this area. We could actually reconsider our philosophy. I mean, the Valley of Kenya with agricultural production. There is also a major problem in these countries, which is refrigeration. If we actually create industries in Egypt and have canned food, canned vegetable, and just export it to these countries, this will solve, their problems in refrigeration, because, as I said, they have a big problem in refrigeration. We need to cooperate with African countries. We are part of Africa, but so far we did not translate this to an economical formula.
Yes.
We need to translate this to an economical formula. There is a lot of ideas, in spite of the fact that the foreign occupation have drained a lot of resources in Africa, but still, Africa is still very rich in the resource, the mineral resources and so forth, land, and it's very promising. So actually, we could utilize our experience in agriculture, in industry, and we've gained a lot of experience in the infrastructure field. Actually, we've developed a lot of highways recently, and if we could establish this highway that connects the Red Sea, Qusair, Safaga, or the Barnis to the heart of Africa, or penetrating all these countries that do not have ports, this will be, a very promising and very profitable project to us, actually. I think if we actually put this in mind, this will change the geography of of Africa.
And speaking of the heart of Africa, Engineer Hassan Shaaban, you've mentioned a very important trip that is being conducted by the Minister of Transport, Kamel El-Wazir, Engineer Kamel El-Wazir, to Chad, to N'Djamena. How do you see the timing of such a visit, the prospects of cooperation on the political and the economic fronts?
Well, actually, the timing is extremely, sensitive, because things are cooling down in Sudan. This is number one. And number two, Chad is an important country for us, and we actually import a lot of cattle from Chad. And if we actually manage to cooperate with Chad, we might have the largest man-made meadows in Chad, actually, for raising camel and so forth. The timing is excellent. We're knocking on the door because Chad is the closest country to us. I think the Libyan government is paving a road from the Mediterranean all the way to N'Djamena right now.
Yes.
I think if our road intersects with the road coming from the Mediterranean to N'Djamena, the Libyan road, I think this will be very beneficial to all of the countries in the area. Hopefully, once things are, calmed down in Sudan, I would recommend creating a free zone area on both sides in Sudan and in Egypt to, encourage the Sudanese side and the Egyptian side to actually have a new door to penetrate to Africa, because we need such a free zone area, which is, will be also a door to the Egyptian products to Africa.
And he also stated that we could be cooperating with Asia, the Asian continent, in Africa for the benefit of the African citizens. How can we do that?
I think being a member in the BRICS actually will inspire a country like Russia, like China, because such infrastructure, the road that connects Red Sea parallel to the equator, that penetrates these closed countries, could be very interesting to a country like China, as I said, or Russia. So, because all of these countries are very rich in raw materials, as I said, I'm repeating this again and again. And we lack this. In order to have industry, we need raw material in Egypt, metallic raw material. I mean, copper and aluminum. All of these raw materials are available in these countries, and we could actually benefit. The road that will take the goods that comes from the Far East to the heart of Africa will return loaded with raw materials and minerals and so forth to feed the Egyptian industry, and it's booming actually. In Minya, Bani Suef, the Kenya, all of these places are booming right now, and we have industries in it. So I think we could just coordinate the whole thing. It will, the Upper Egypt will be a new hub.
And speaking of industries, Burkina Faso is the #1 in Africa right now in terms of the cotton industry.
Cotton industry, yes.
So what does this say about the reputation of the Egyptian cotton worldwide? How can we be regaining such a reputation?
Unfortunately, we neglected our cotton crop for some time. This gave a chance to others to compete with us. We mean well. I mean, once Mahalla itself, as a city, was established to, have the weaving and spinning industry in it.
Yes.
Now, the area of cotton that grows cotton in Egypt is shrinking. So, actually, the weaving and spinning industry in Egypt requires a new look, or a closer look, because I'll let you know something. Some time ago, 1971, late President Muammar Gaddafi in Libya constructed a huge and very, very advanced weaving and spinning factory in a place called Zanzur on the Mediterranean. And he considered using the Egyptian cotton in this factory.
Yes.
With Indian technology. Unfortunately, we did not send any cotton to this weaving and spinning, and I think during the problems, the political problems in Libya, this factory was subject to destruction. I'm not very sure, but hopefully if things are cooling down in Libya, we could actually benefit from this factory in Zanzur. A lot of ideas, a lot of wishful thinking took place during the last period. We need to materialize all of our dreams. We need to actually fulfill our dreams. Africa is hungry for development, and we are eager to prove that we are a very promising and we have a lot of expertise actually. We could utilize this to the benefit of our brothers in Africa.
Yes, and speaking about the Sahel in Africa, the Nile Basin countries, the Horn of Africa, the priorities of Egypt in terms of the political development for those regions and the security, because the security of those regions and the African continent in general, it is affecting the Egyptian national security,
Definitely.
something that is being reiterated over and over again by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, especially in his trips to the African countries. How do you see the political developments in those African regions, and how can they be affecting us negatively in terms of security?
Any uprisings or problems that takes place in these countries actually reflects on our relationship with them, because development requires stability and peace. So at one time we adopted the principle of silence of guns, actually.
Yes.
And it worked, actually. Chad is a very stable country right now. Hopefully Niger is going into a stable era. I think development will encourage these countries to stabilize and try to utilize their resources to the benefit of their people, because it's Africa is rich, but yet this did not reflect on the standard of living of the people in Africa. We require peace, security in order to develop. You cannot have a development program and sustainable development program unless you have peace in the area. Sudan hopefully is moving toward this target. Of course, once this area is stable, I think Egypt will have an excellent relationship with them, and we need to change our philosophy in industry, agriculture, infrastructure, even considering having settlements, agricultural settlements and industrial settlements in all of these.
For Egypt to be changing its philosophy.
Yes, the young people in Egypt who actually try to immigrate to Europe actually will have a better chance going and working in Africa in these settlements. We should have an ambitious program to have areas allocated by the governments in these areas to grow crops that we require. A lot of these countries, the water resources is available, and we are facing a water problem in Egypt. We require a lot of more water than we actually have right now. So it's a way out of it, and that we go out and just have settlements in these countries.
In terms of peace and stability, because you mentioned, Engineer Hassan Shaaban, that silencing the guns was an initiative that was suggested by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during 2019 as Egypt was heading the African Union. But nowadays, how can Egypt be contributing to peace and security in Africa strategically for the benefit of every African citizen?
You see, a lot of these countries now are thinking of creating industries. One of the interesting industries that some of these countries are thinking about is military equipment, actually. I think if Egypt cooperate with countries like Uganda, like Kenya, Madagascar, actually, all of these countries are very eager to have industries and cooperate with companies that have good reputation in the States or in Europe in military production and ammunition. So I think we're in a position to cooperate with these countries, and this will serve our strategic targets, actually. Actually, there is a lot of projects actually that will allow us strategically to be present in areas that are very important to us, meaning the corridor of Al-Mandab, the Bab al-Mandab area is very important to us because this leads to the Suez Canal. So we're going to have some presence in this area. And in order to do this, actually, there is a good idea that actually the Koreans have actually adopted some time ago. You take an oil tanker, a huge oil tanker, like a 250,000 ton oil tanker, turn it to a refrigeration vessel,
Yes.
anchor it in the Gulf of Aden, in the Indian Ocean, and have like 200 boats like that you have in Rashid and Dumyata and Suez to fish around this tanker and give the harvest, the fish that they fish, empty it in this oil tanker, which is no longer oil tanker, it's a refrigeration and preparation of fishery. So actually they prepare the fish, refrigerate it in this huge refrigeration unit, and you can export this fish to all of the African countries.
Yes.
And well, of course part of it could come to Egypt. You could have some military presence, like 2 Coast Guard or missile boats to protect our investment in this area, because you have a lot of pirates in this area. We need to stabilize the area. Being there to protect our investment and to protect the corridor of Mandab, this will serve both the corridor of Mandab and create an economical chance for us to work in this area and provide our market and the African market with the required fish there.
But during our discussion for tonight, you've mentioned, Engineer Hassan Shaaban, that Egypt is facing water scarcity. So we need to be having water security for the future. But we have seen the wisdom in terms of the political bilateral relations between Egypt and the rest of Africa to be balancing this water security that Egypt needs and the bilateral ties between Egypt and its neighbors. How do you see this wisdom in terms of the political leadership directives?
We played a very wise role in the problem of Gaza, and again in the war between the states and Iran. I mean, this wisdom could be utilized to solve the problems in the area, the water resources and everything in the area. I think the U.S. Could play a very positive role in this respect. You see, at least 1/4 billion cubic meter of water seeps from the plateau of Ethiopia to the Gulf of Aden every year during the rainfall season, actually, which is taking place right now.
Yes.
This is wasted water. I mean, if we all can cooperate and have other projects to preserve this water instead of just seeping to the Gulf of Aden, and utilize it to the benefit of the whole area, increase our share of water that comes from Ethiopia. And instead of having disputes about water, we could increase the amount of water that is preserved in the area. We could have a satellite, we all actually share in it. And this satellite will have a program to actually control the discharge of water in all the dams and the reservoirs, and observe rainfalls, and no human interference. We have our share of water. Nobody will threaten us that he will reduce this. This satellite is very capable of observing the whole area as water resources being controlled by this satellite. And of course all of these areas have good intentions. I doubt that anybody had bad intentions to hurt another country, because this is even against the African mentality. We all partners in all of Africa, and you know, the water resources are the gift of God to us. It's not a man-made thing.
Yes.
It's a gift from God to us, and I think we ought to respect this gift and try to make the best of it. So I hope that we all be wise in dealing with the water you know, resources, and try to utilize you know, our. I have to tell you something.
Yes.
The environmental changes that everybody suffered from and had negative effects on a lot of areas, but it had a positive effect on the rate of rainfall in the central of Africa. The rainfall in Central Africa have increased. And I think we ought all to know about that. We need to cooperate to utilize this to the benefit of the countries in this area. I think we need also to consider examining thoroughly the underground water on the line stretched from the depression of Qattara all the way to Central Africa, because I think the underground river in this area is a fact, and I think we need to be wise and try to you know, have certain researches, and I think it will be very beneficial to us if we cooperate with countries like the US, because they have the capabilities of, you know, exploring deep layers of soil, and you know, and I think you know, we're very ambitious. We need to actually dream, and we dreamt for a long time. We need to turn our dreams to reality now.
Yes, Engineer Hassan Shaaban, please allow me to be going to another report of the Nile Oracle for tonight about another dream. To be specific, as Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati spoke about the importance of having a unified entity across Africa to be distributing and to be coordinating the investments within the African continent. We will be having more details in the upcoming report. Stay tuned.